Hey everyone, welcome back to my childhood childhood entertainment. Oh damn, this is probably gonna go into December. Damn, I didn't want it to go into that because like I said, I wanted to do the Silent Night, Deadly Night movies. But this film, I actually saw it when it first came out on DVD. Not good, not DVD, but video. This is the DVD copy, by the way. The so-called director's cut. Pretty much more sexual humor. That's what you're getting. But anyways, I love the film. I really do. It brings a tear to my eye every time I watch it because I get like a nostalgia trip every time I watch it. I'm like, oh, I remember being a kid and watching this movie. Granted, not this version, but okay. Now to get right down to it, Spawn. Uh, a lot of people heard have heard about this comic book. If you're between the ages of 20 to 40, you know about Spawn. Yeah, granted, maybe if you're between the ages of 13 and 14, maybe you've heard of Spawn too. But uh, if you're between the ages of 20 and 40, you know Spawn. My uncle has heard of Spawn. Has he ever seen the movie? Has he ever read the comics? No, he hasn't. And I really don't blame him because he doesn't read much. It's not that he's illiterate because he can read really well. I asked him to read me a little something from a Fangoria magazine because I wanted to show him this article about the Friday the 13th remake. And he read it and he didn't get anything wrong or anything, so it shows he's not illiterate. But Spawn, I really want him to check this movie out. I think he'd enjoy it. If he likes Martin Sheen movies, I think he'd like this. Uh, what this is about, this is the second time I've had to make this video, so I'm going to try to make this short. Um, what this is about, it's about an assassin by the name of Al Simmons, played very well, very beautifully by Michael Jai White. Uh, I like his movies. I think they're really good, but I don't own any of his movies, like, other than this. And granted, this was the first Michael Jai White movie I ever saw. Teresa Randall's in this as Al's fiance. Her name's Wanda. Uh, really beautiful woman. We've got Martin Sheen as Jason Wynn. Um, very evil guy, like very evil, making deals with demons from hell. One in particular, Violator. Violator, I don't care what anybody says. Violator is a kick-ass villain for a comic book. Carnage is cool. Everybody knows Venom as being a great villain. Violator is a kick-ass demon. Kick-ass demon, kick-ass villain, I don't care. He is kick-ass. And he's not too bad as his human form. Let me open this up. That's Todd McFarlane right there, the man with the plane. Spawn in his all his cape glory. And right there, hopefully you all can see it. Alright, there. That is John Leguizamo as the Violator. Or Clown in his so supposedly human demon form. The only problems I have with this, and I even had problems with it as a kid because I grew up on practical effects. This movie is filled to the brim with CGI. That's my only complaint with this. Granted, that's pretty much the whole movie, but some practical in it, like the costumes are practical. Granted, I hate to see what a CGI costume would look like. The cape is, of course, CGI. Just so you know, this scene isn't in the movie. Um, Here's a scene showing some CGI. Uh, I'll go over the synopsis, not the one I'm talking about because I will talk about my synopsis. But here's what it says. Imagine a creature on the verge of creation. From comic book legend Todd McFarlane comes the live-action special effects movies event of the year, Spawn. Michael John Leguizamo and Martin Sheen star in a battle beyond good, battle beyond evil, and beyond imagination. The effects in this movie, if I was a fan of CGI, I'd be having a nerdgasm. Sorry if that grosses people out, but okay. This film, the story makes up for the effects. If you want to know how to make hell uh, in a practical way, see the movie The Burning Moon. That's how you do hell. Grosses you out, but it sticks with you. It's like Cannibal Holocaust, but I keep hearing about that movie. If anybody has seen that movie, like Mike OCP Communications has seen it, and Matt from Rambo Afterlife has seen it. Can anybody else tell me about it? Because I want to hear more people's opinions about the movie. I looked it up, and I'm thinking about watching it. Then again, I'm not thinking about watching it because I heard it's got some found footage elements, and I'm not a fan of found footage. But anyways, back on topic. The assassin Al, he thinks he's doing it for the good of mankind. He thinks he's only killing evil people, but come to find out he's killing innocent people. And Jason Wynn, his boss, Jason Wynn is the boss of Al. He's a mean, evil motherfucker. He says, "Oh, we'll give you one more mission. After this, you can do whatever you want. Go to a biochemical plant and destroy it. That's all we need from you all." That's pretty much what they're saying to him. And pretty much Jason Wynn's got this bimbo assistant, but she's got some smarts in her. A bimbo with smarts. Yeah. Played by Melinda Clarke from, a lot of people, horror fans might know her from one of my all-time favorite horror movies, Return of the Living Dead. My favorite of the Return of the Living Dead franchise. Next to the first one, of course. She's in this. She plays... Oh, I forgot the name. But she is in the movie. I'll just call her Mindy Clark. She's in this... it's not too big of a role because she gets killed off pretty quickly in the movie. And her death is awesome. It's well deserving. I don't wish death on anybody, even my worst enemies. I don't wish death on. But it's a movie, so you gotta have some imagination at some points. The movie goes by at a quick pace. Al gets shot in the back, literally shot in the back by Melinda Clarke, and gets sprayed with this really flammable liquid. It's like green, gooey looking stuff. And he gets sprayed from head to toe in it, and he's like, oh, ugh. set fire to him. Set fire to the ring. Yeah, I know. uh, for some reason now that I watch that scene, I can't help but thinking of "Set Fire to the Ring" by. I hate that song. I cannot stand it. Ugh. Every time it gets stuck in my head, I'm like, But anyways, uh, then we get practical. It's a practical explosion and no CGI. We get to see Michael Jai White burning, and he screams out, "Wanda!" And then we see through his head, we see him get transported to hell in a CGI effect. And it's swirling with fire and everything, flames just coming out of everywhere, pretty much every orifice of his body. And he's pretty much screwed. He's in hell for living the life of an assassin. So, yeah. Not a good way to go. But anyways, he makes a deal with the devil, Malbolgia, who's not the main demon in the comic books. Like, there's more powerful demons than Malbolgia. But for some reason, they focused on Malbolgia the most in this movie. He makes a deal with the devil, or Malbolgia. The devil pretty much says, "If you do this for me, you'll be reunited with your woman, Wanda." And so Al says, "I'll do it. I'll do anything to be with Wanda again." And so he gets transported back to Earth 6 months later, and he meets the Violator in the form of a clown. And he responds, "Where the hell am I?" And the clown responds with a pretty crappy line, but it does give me a chuckle every now and then. "Ah, I told them well done, not burnt." And Al pretty much looks like Freddy Krueger a little bit. Hell, this is made by New Line. So could that be kind of a shout out to Freddy? Yeah, in the book you get to see him, and like he looks really gross. He's got maggots all over his face. He's got worms crawling all over his eyes, and those are the kind of comic books I love. I didn't read the comic book until I was about 13. I didn't even know this was based off of a comic book until I was about 9 or 10. Because I don't look at the credits for movies that much, especially when I was a kid, but as I grew older, I was like, I'm going to have to check this baby out. So I went down when I was about 14 or 15 and bought like a big pile of nothing but Spawn books. Took them home, read them all. I gave one away, but then the rest I lost, and some got stolen. So sadly, I no longer have any Spawn issues. But my favorite one, I bought it for about $5. The Violator cover. That one is a good issue. Definitely check it out. I won't spoil anything. And all of the issues fit together, so yeah. I even got one issue where it's pretty much Al's mouth. Like, you get to see his rotten teeth. No face, you don't get to see his face, but you get to see his two green eyes. Some issues show it with red eyes, but I don't know if there's any differences between the two other than the cover. That issue was good. I love the Spawn logo, but I don't really care a whole lot for the Spawn logo for the movie. Pretty much what happens next, we're invited to this pretty much place called Rat City. It's an alleyway full of hobos and people who are down on their luck. And we get introduced to this kid named Max, played by none other than Miko Hughes from Pet Cemetery, the baby. Uh, the baby Gage. He's not all grown up, but he's 7 years old, and he plays the role perfectly. Uh, I can't see anybody else playing Max. So, yeah. Miko Hughes is playing Max, and we also get Al's dog, Spaz. Spaz is in the movie, so that's cool. Um, Cyan is in the movie. She's not a big character. Uh, Sadly, Wanda, she really hasn't forgotten about Al, but she's kind of moved on to his best friend Terry. They have a daughter by the name of Cyan, and Terry, for some reason, they made Terry a white guy in this movie. I'm not being racist or anything, but I think that if a character is a certain race in a comic book, they should at least put it into the live action as that race. But anyways, he's played by a good actor. I don't mind. D.B. Sweeney, the same guy who plays in Stared and Horror episode of Tales from the Crypt. So we got him, and we're introduced to so many different people. It's pretty easy to get confused with who's a good guy, who's a bad guy. But when you've seen the movie so many damn times, like me, you know right off the bat what's going to happen next. But anyways, after we're introduced to Rat City, we have a song by Marilyn Manson called "The Long Hard Road Out of Hell." The soundtrack is really sweet. I like some of the songs on the soundtrack. Filter is in it. Marilyn Manson and the Sneaker Pimps. We've got Korn and the Dust Brothers. We've got Henry Rollins. We've got a band called the Butthole Surfers. I don't really like them. Never been a Butthole Surfers fan. Not a fan of the band's name, honestly, either. But anyways, we get pretty much, we're going to the cemetery now with Al and the clown. In human form, he's pretty much just called Clown. Not a really inventive name, Todd McFarlane, but okay. Just roll with it. So, Clown wants Spawn or Al to dig up the grave of himself. And we see nothing but bones and his Navy SEALs fatigues. And he's just like, oh god. And Al takes the necklace off of pretty much his own neck and puts it close to his chest, and he's like, oh god. And Clown, trying to be the jokester and saying, you had to say the G word, no, la 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 la. And so Al puts the necklace next to his chest, and it goes inside his body in a really CGI type of way, but it's a cool effect. I liked it. You can't really do that practically. I mean, you could, but it would be a lot cooler. But anyways, you got green lights coming off of his chest, and so it goes into his chest, and he's like, I'm going to take down one. That's pretty much what he says. Uh, I can't remember all the lines, people, but come on. If I said all the lines, I'd pretty much be spoiling the movie. But this all happens within a matter of about 30 minutes, so I'm not spoiling everything in the movie. Uh, so we get these stupid devil worshippers trying to call forth the demons from hell. Hallelujah! And so they stab, I think it's a goat head on a gravestone, and they end up walking, and they see Al and the clown. And they're like, who are you guys? Did the devil send you? And uh, the clown says a line, and I'm not going to repeat it, but I hated what he said. I hate the R word. I can't stand it. But I tolerate it. I tolerate it when people say the word. I know that most people don't mean to offend, but when they use it, it kind of hurts. But that's pretty much the only word I hate. Other than the N word, I don't like that word either. But those are the two words I hate. Well, there's a third word. Pretty much any racial slurs I hate. And any derogatory words I don't like. But anyways, back on topic. Uh, we see CGI again. Al's looking like this, and he's like, and he ends up, his mask ends up forming, his suit forms, and Clown ends up saying, "You went from a fledgling hellspawn to a full hellspawn in record time." And then you start to grow hair in funny areas and start thinking about girls. And I just laughed a little bit. And the humor in this isn't too bad. Like, it's tolerable. I laughed at most of the things Clown said. Then some parts were just stupid. Um, Al, after his suit's formed and everything, his mask comes off in the CGI effect. And him and Clown decide we're gonna take down Jason Wynn. And by doing that, if he kills Wynn, he's going to unleash the powers of hell to go to heaven. And he doesn't remember being given that deal. All he wants to do is go back and be a normal human being again. But then everything starts to come into play that Clown isn't all that. He isn't really what he's setting Spawn up to be. Like, he thinks that, oh, if he kills Wynn, he'll be reunited with Wanda. But Clown's leading Spawn on and everything to kill Wynn and unleash the apocalypse. And the more Al thinks about it, he's like, oh, I want to be with Wanda, but I'm going to be damning humanity at the same time. So the more and more Spawn starts to think about it, Spawn's an anti-hero, folks. He's not really a good guy, not really a bad guy, but he does save the innocent and kill the guilty. He punishes the sinners in really brutal ways in the comic book, by the way. Demons start coming forth to Earth in the comic books, yada yada yada. I'll let you, the viewers, go out, pick up the comic books. They're really good. Pick up the movie while you're at it. So, anyways, Spawn ends up crashing a party hosted by Wynn, Uh, a whole bunch of business people are giving Jason Wynn an award for something. Terry is there. Like I said, Terry, the guy played by D.B. Sweeney, he's there, and Al and Terry have a confrontation, and he says to Al, "Well, when you died, Wanda was devastated, and I don't care who you are. You don't mess with your best friend's woman. You don't. Like, that's one of the big fuck ups that you did, Terry. You messed around with Al's woman." But Al isn't completely pissed because they have a beautiful. Uh, Terry and Wanda have a beautiful daughter, so Spawn can't really do anything about that. But anyways, uh, then we get more humor later on in the movie uh, when Al introduces himself to Cyan. And I'm not going through everything in the movie, folks. But then we get to one of my favorite parts. When Al has a confrontation with Mindy Clark's character, uh, Jason Wynn's assistant. She tries kicking him in the balls, and his belt comes out and bites her leg, and then she's like, "You don't have the guts." And he's holding up his two submachine guns or Uzis or whatever they are, and shoots her. And he's like, "You're right." And I'm like, "Fuck yeah, man!" They picked the right person to play Al Simmons. And so, as the movie progresses, it gets cooler and cooler. But the hell sequences I did not like. You can. This movie is 50% CGI. Like, all the hell sequences you see are CGI, and most of the effects are CGI. And what I mean by there's a lot more sexual humor in this, there's a part where Clown gets his head cut off, and he's like, "Hey Wanda, what do you think of my little head, huh?" Uh, in the director's cut, he says, "What do you think about a little head?" Uh, yeah, the original version is PG-13. This is the director's cut. R-rated for violence and crude humor. Then Al falls ends up jumping from the sky and crawls on buildings. His suit has all these powers, and he's able to suction cup himself to walls to crawl on them, kind of like Spider-Man a little bit, except for cooler. I like Spider-Man, but Spawn's my favorite. Spawn and Venom are my favorite comic book characters. Bullseye from Daredevil's alright. Elektra, I can't say I've read any of those comic books. Never been a huge Elektra fan. I'm more of a fan of Daredevil, even though Elektra is part of the Daredevil universe. I never found myself a big fan of Elektra. But Daredevil's cool. I like Daredevil. But back on topic about Spawn. The Spawn movie and the Spawn comic book, they are both really well done. And the movie does try to stay true to the comic book. Hell, the movie is made by Todd McFarlane, the same man who made Spawn, the comic book. So it's in good, capable hands. So you know it's being done with justice. And I thought some of the lines were cool. Definitely some memorable lines. So I'm gonna fast forward, folks. Uh, Spawn's pretty much had enough of Clown and starts to shoot him with the machine gun because Clown is trying to kill Spaz. Uh, his hand grows bigger and he's like, "Play dead!" And then Spawn shoots him and he's like, "I've had enough of you." And then he takes Clown and picks him up and he's like, "You can take this army of yours and shove it." And Clown's just like, "Oh, sounds like a country song. Take that army of yours and shove it. Take that army of yours and shove it." And he throws Clown, and he's like, Clown's had enough too, and he ends up turning in a really CGI effect. After the CGI effect is all done, it turns into like an actual prosthetic, practical demon. So I give them credit for that. They actually did do a robotic demon. So I give them credit for that. But when the Clown turns from human to demon, uh, human demon to monster demon, the Violator, again my favorite comic book villain. So after he's turned into big bad Violator, he ends up attacking Spawn left and right, punching him here, punching him there, and Spawn gets in a good couple of machine gun shots. Mask and all, he's got his cape out and whipping by, trying to find the Violator. And the Violator pins him to the gate shown right here in the cover. The gate is there in the movie. And he's just pinned, kind of like Jesus on the cross. I know that's a bad reference to make. I know I'm not against religion or anything. I'm just not a religious person. I'm just not. But anyways, Spawn tries to pull himself off of the gate, and Cagliostro is in the movie too, played by Nicole Williamson. He's played in some stuff. I don't know him for a whole lot of stuff. And this movie, it's gonna have some haters and it's gonna have some lovers. Some comic book fans absolutely despise this movie. They say, "Oh, it's not doing the comic book justice." And I'm like, really? Really? You want to see a movie that's not giving comic books justice? I even own the movie too. Spider-Man 3 doesn't give Spider-Man justice. They got Topher fucking Grace to play Venom, Eddie Brock, and I'm just like, that was a terrible choice in the first place, and then another terrible choice upon that. Just terrible choice after terrible choice. That movie's just a big mess. I'll talk about that at some point. But anyways, this movie is great. If you grew up on this movie, congrats. If you grew up on Spawn the comic books, right on. If you grew up on comic books, right on. If you grew up on Spider-Man, Batman, I actually read the Batman comics. They're pretty cool. I like them. I like the Batman. He's cool. Tales from the Crypt, awesome comic books. So, anyways, what do I give this movie? I give it an 8 out of 10. I dropped 2 hatchets because the CGI. You could do hell without using CGI. You can make Malbolgia. I know, I'm gonna pull up what this film's budget was. Pull up the Internet Movie Database. Okay. Screw it. I'm not waiting for the page to load. Anyways, 8 out of 10. So I'll cut the video off here. Hopefully you all enjoyed my childhood entertainment review of Spawn. I'll be back at some point, if I can find where I put that movie. Okay. Ah, here it is. I will review this Dr. Gore, one of my all-time favorite gore fests. This is a great movie from my childhood. Yeah, it's pretty much a Frankenstein ripoff, but it's a good Frankenstein ripoff. So anyways, there's not a whole lot more I can say. I'm out. Peace. Have a good night. Here we go. Peace.